There isn't a bottle big enough to sell the essence of the TT in, nor a headline long enough to do it justice. Even with all the time in the world to mull it over, once you've seen it once, you'll be as lost for words as those that dare to challenge themselves around the Isle of Man.
Explain the TT in one word.
It's hard to describe it in one word, but you can you? Like, you can't just say one word to...
Not within my vocabulary.
In English? I don't think there is one single word in English that describes the TT.
No, you can't. You can't.
I don't think I could even pick one. I couldn't pick a word.
Can I say no?
No, I really can't. It's too much. It's too much to me to.
No, like you can't explain it in one word.
There's not one word. There's lots of amazing words.
I'm not going to say mad or crazy or ludicrous or scary or it's just...
Mad. Madness.
Insane. Outrageous.
Not a big enough word, is it? You'd say awesome or incredible, but that just gets used too much.
Oh, incredible.
Incredible, it is. Always has been.
Odd.
Unfathomable. General rush.
That's two.
Oh yeah.
Breathtaking. I know it's not one word, but it's breathtaking.
You know, no, I can't. I really don't know a word to.
Magical. Just magic.
Maybe impossible or unbelievable. Maybe, one word.
It's extremely difficult, I think, to explain what the TT is. The only word that ever describes the Isle of Man TT races is unbelievable, and I've said that before and I'll keep saying it.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable?
Probably unbelievable.
Because the whole idea behind it all is unbelievable for a start, and the fact that we are actually doing it is unbelievable. It is just amazing. It's fucking amazing.
Yeah, there is one word, and it is, and it's because it's so true, and it's unique. That it is unique.
It's amazing to watch. It's amazing to do. It's just.
You hear it so many times. One old phrase.
There is nowhere like it.
But because there isn't anything else like it.
There is not anything that you've ever seen or experienced before in your life that is like this.
It's very difficult to explain in some cases where the Isle of Man is.
Telling us a little rock in the middle of the Irish Sea, try and tell them how far back it goes and how old the race is, how long the track is, how fast it is.
To explain the nature of the event is difficult because...
Explain the TT to someone who doesn't know what it is. It's
37 3/4 mile street circuit with bumps, jumps, manholes, curbs, lampposts, hedges.
It's in between houses, walls, trees. It's
how it's a time trial, how you can get so close to the track. You can
closed roads, pit stops, over a mountain.
And a proper mountain to go over, you know.
The best, the hardest and the craziest, most dangerous race in the world.
If I did have to explain it to someone, I don't know exactly what I'd say because it's not something that you can really explain.
Right, go to end of your garden, right, turn left, close the roads for 37 3/4 mile and end up back at your garden and race around as fast as you can.
It's virtually getting to the end of your drive, turning left or turning right and doing 37 3/4 miles and coming back, and then going as fast as you want without anyone telling you off, should we say.
There's nothing like it, you know. There's the essence of the wonder of why it happens, why it's still happening. If it didn't exist, and you put the proposal forward for the TT to take place for the first time next year, wouldn't get off the drawing board.
It wouldn't be legal if we started now, so you wouldn't be fit to set it up now as an event, you know, like the way there's new crazy extreme sports. This would not be allowed.
To get around the place, first you have to find the place. If you were given directions to a TT race, you could say to shoot for the moon and then follow the stars. When you reach your wildest dreams, just keep on going. Then when you can hear the noise of tortured engines, you know you're close. Just make sure to stay between the hedges the whole way.
You can explain it as long as you want, but until they've seen it, you're never going to get a true sense of what it feels like to be part of such a big event and to see bikes going past you a few inches away from your face at, well, they're going 200 miles an hour now down Sulby Straight. It is a bit nuts, and I don't know how I could explain it and do it justice.
Whenever I'm talking about it, I always feel like I'm underselling it. I'm not trying to sell something, but I just don't feel like I'm doing it justice.
In other ways, it's actually the contrary. Like I've been around people and I'm like, oh, I race bikes, and they're like, oh, okay, and you can still see like a puzzled look, like they're thinking, you mean push bikes, or are you one of those guys that does like backflips in like those, you know, arenas, and like you can see that sort of puzzled look, and you go, you know, like the Isle of Man TT, and their eyes just open up and they go, what, you do that? And then, so yeah, sometimes you use the Isle of Man TT as like a defining thing to give people that understanding of what it is that you do in the motorcycle disciplines.
The reason I wanted to do the TT in the first place was because it's the event that everyone has heard of. When you talk about bike racing, this is the one that they've heard about. They know where Silverstone is, they know what MotoGP is, they know what Formula One is, but they're not single events. The biggest single event, I think, and I think most people would agree, for motorcycle racing is the TT.
It's the single biggest motorcycle event in the world, that's without question now. To get that across, first of all, there have to be a motorcyclist, I think, in most cases, to be asking about it. But then I've got friends that are outside of motorcycling because they catch a glimpse now and again, oh, there's something on ITV4 or whatever, and wow, we didn't know you were, you know, at that level or whatever, you know, we didn't know you were so involved. And what an event, it's a spectacle, and you have to tell them, you know, it's probably like going to the Wembley Cup final or whatever, or climbing Mount Everest, and they have to see a little bit of it, and they only get, of course, a glimpse, don't they, on TV, of the actual atmosphere and the festival that it's become.
It's hard to find words to express it and share it. I think the people that have seen it know that, and the people that haven't seen it perhaps think they know it, and then until the day they do see it and it blows their mind. So, you know, as good as the digital world is now, it can't capture that true, like, feeling that the TT gives you, whether you're on the bike or track side. It's inexplainable, I think.
Dear God!
To get around in 17 minutes or so, it's not rocket science that you're not hanging about, you know, so it's got to give you an understanding of how fast you're going. Nothing can actually prepare you from being here.
To try and explain it, you can't. You just have to basically get them on the plane, you know, literally walk them through it and say, okay, this is what it's all about.
You stand at the side of the road and watch somebody go past faster than you've ever seen anything in your life or felt in your life. And it don't matter how many times you tell them or explain that to them or describe it.
It's quite hard to get it across though, they don't really get it.
You know, if people don't understand it, it's because they have the fear in themselves about what they don't understand, and that's always something of which has been, you know, part of our life system, scare of the unknown, you know, at the end of the day. So
I kind of like to drop the TT thing just to get people's reaction, because it always, you know, normally it's either someone has instant fear for you because they don't understand it, you know.
Because when they just see, you know, certain excerpts of the Isle of Man TT, normally it's like, of extreme speed. They just go, nope. I don't get it, I don't want to get it, it's not for me, I think they're all mad.
Or, you know, there's people like, that give you instant praise. They're like, oh my God, I'm so impressed. You know, it's strange, you know, the different reactions you'll get from people.
The thing is, you can't truly explain it.
I just think you've just got to go. You've just got to go.
And that's the only way to explain it, is to see for yourself.
I want to blindfold someone and bring them to the start line or like the pit wall, and like 10 seconds before someone, like they don't know where they're going, what's happening or anything, like 10 seconds before they come, pop the blindfold off and go, just tell me what you think happens now in 10 seconds, and somebody comes past. Can you imagine the fucking feeling? Like people that come for the first time and sit on the side of the road, you know, like someone's videoing them and it like blows their mind, but they know what, they've watched videos, they know what the TT is, they know where they're going. Can you imagine like just plonking someone there and not knowing where they're going or anything? It'd fucking blow your mind, wouldn't it?
It was strange for me because before I'd come, I had no interest in, I knew what the TT was, but I haven't ever followed it properly and never really had any interest in coming. The time between that mindset and thinking, I'm gonna do this, was probably about 5 seconds. So I literally like landed at the airport, you know, come up to the pits, and it was a live track at the time. So I just like walked up literally through the paddock, past like all the security, you know, at the gates and stuff, and then ended up in the holding area. And then, yeah, literally like 5 seconds later when there was bikes going past, and I realised like how intense it is. You know, the sound and the buzz, it's something else, isn't it? I mean, anyone that's been there can relate to what I'm talking about. So it's, yeah, it's sort of like a defining moment for me anyway.
Where's the best place to see and feel the speed? Where would you want to be sent to see it for the first time?
You know what? To get that first sense of like what it's all that about, it's a bit standard, if you like, but when I came across my dad in '82 when I was a kid, 10 years old, he just sort of got my head and shoved me under a rope at bottom of Bray Hill.
Everybody says bottom of Bray Hill, don't they? I mean, that's what everyone says, but...
If I speak to someone I know it's their first time, I always say bottom of Bray Hill. That's like
where a lot of people go, and a lot of people, a bit cliche, isn't it? Oh God, but it is like...
When I was first at Bray Hill, I was at the Secret Garden. I stuck my phone out for the first time to record it, and I put my phone in and I thought, oh my God, because the thing was about it is the force of nature of what happens here is so great, it does nothing prepares you for it.
It's, yeah, not something you can get bored of, I don't think.
I wouldn't go to Bray Hill, no. Easiest bit is bottom of Bray, innit? If somebody's like on foot, you'd just say go and stand at the bottom of Bray Hill, but if you've got transport, then you need, and legs, you need to get out there and find.
I always like somewhere fast. I've always liked somewhere fast. I've never been, I wouldn't be interested, I would be interested, but if I had to choose, I wouldn't choose a Quarter Bridge, a Braddon Bridge, a Ballacrane, that type of thing, you know, Sulby Bridge, or that. I'd have to go somewhere where it's just like...
So I normally send people to Gorsley. So if somebody asks me, where shall I go and watch? I send them to Gorsley, which is 7 miles in, so that's probably an easier way of remembering it than Gorsley. But
we went to Gorsley, we'd never watched at Gorsley before.
That is an eye-opener.
You can get to it from the outside of the track, so even when the track's closed, you can still get to it. Not only that, the Gorsley corner, unreal. 170 mile an hour, 5th gear on superbike, and you can sit on the wall, and if you put your hand out, you pretty much touch us. That's how close you are.
He had his legs like sort of dangling over a wall. I think it was Harrison, he come through, and it was like, oh, pull your legs back, you know, like you could almost touch the guy. You know, it was just unreal.
And we actually aim at you. So if you're sat up on the wall, we come through a corner called Harold's first, and we actually aim at the wall to then turn away from it. So the sensation of speed there must be, I say I've not watched there, but I've always sent people there to watch, and everyone always comes away blown away.
Do you know what? There's that many good places to watch the TT for centre speed. It's unbelievable. But
Even Bagara's good to watch at.
Bagara's good. Bottom of Bagara, that is one. Or even the top of Bagara. Either one.
If you want a perspective of what the TT is really like, go and watch Bagara, because it's just like, wow.
The best sense of speed?
Maybe Conkerfields, maybe. It's not the quickest, but there's a bit happening there. You know, it's quite confined and tight line. Or Rencullen jump, maybe out of Rencullen. That would be. There's not many places to watch there, but that's somewhere satisfying.
Just toward the end of Sulby Strait, that is shocking. It is actually shocking.
There's loads of places. I would, if I was had the choice to bring someone, I would bring them right up the end of the mountain mile on the inside of the bridge, you know, where you clip the fence post there and you're still flat chat there on a superbike. So I think that would be a good spot to go, listen, come and watch this and let me know what you think.
You know, you can sit at the edge of the Cronker Body or something like that, and you know, us boys go by the end of your feet at 170, 80 mile an hour. So I would assume that there's a few of them would wet their pants all right. I would say there's a few damp places in the hedges now, when they're, especially when you go somewhere fast and somebody's coming at a considerable amount of rate of knots. You know, it's when you're not used to that, it'll be an experience, all right.
If a bike flashing past flat out is one line in the TT tale, and a fortnight of racing is an entire chapter in the book of Isle of Man madness, you'll reach the last page and immediately want to go back to the start and read it all over again. The beauty of the TT is it'll never make sense, no matter how many times you study the story. If you think these guys flashing past looks fast to you, imagine what it feels like for them to watch themselves. Does it mess with their mindset?
No, I think if it was messing with my head, it would be like, what am I doing this? Why are you doing bike racing? Because it's, you know, it's fast.
No, I get quite a thrill out of it. It's good, yeah.
I think because I've watched it since I was a kid and now doing it, been involved in bike racing all my life, it just feels normal.
There was no difference to my dad working at home, riding up our back road, than it was going to watch him on a closed road. You know, it seemed the same thing, so it never really changed.
I suppose I've always, like you say, I've grown up around it. I'm aware of how fast it is, and it just feels natural, I suppose.
That's what we've been reared in. It's like going to the shop for a pint of Monk. You know, it doesn't seem any different than when somebody that's never been to watch one to go and watch one. It's far different for them.
Some riders, obviously, they're the ones that'll tell you they'll sit there and happily watch. Others don't like it. you know, because it maybe would mess with their mindset.
Tell you where I went the other night. I went to Hilbury and it scared the fuck clean out of me.
I have watched at Hilbury.
And the first bike went past and I was like, holy shit.
And I could not believe how fast the Super Twins were through Hilbury Corner.
Thing was on its side, there was sparks coming off the exhaust. I was like, I seen them crash about 15 times in my head as it went through. I was just like, oh my God.
And since then, I don't think I've ever watched another bike go past. Unless I've been on it.
Well, yeah, was what I said last time I brought down. I was watching some of the boys come through then. I thought, Jesus Christ, these look like they're going fast. And I thought, well, mate, he's 10th and I was like 3rd. I'm thinking, I must be going somewhat similar.
It messes with your head a little bit. Like I said, it's a bit of a, I say it's breathtaking kind of thing, but it's also a bit off-putting at the same time kind of thing. So I sat there thinking to myself after thinking when they come flying past, and I thought, there's no way, like I said, there's no way I do that. But then when you actually do, you do. So it's a thing to behold.
I certainly don't sit there. I've heard other riders go, oh God, it scared death out of me. I won't go and watch that again.
Neil Hodgson, years ago, never raced a TT, of course, lived in the Isle of Man, World Superbike champion, British Superbike champion. And he said the first time he watched, they went past and he had to back away because he felt physically sick. He said that's not him being dramatic. He said he actually felt like throwing up. He couldn't believe the speed of the bike as it went past.
You know, I don't really want to watch anywhere fast because it would put me off. Like, and that's a fact. Like, you would definitely think twice about doing it if you watched in some of the sections when you realise just how fast you're going. You know?
I remember Jim Moody, after he retired, saying he watched for the first time and he couldn't believe how fast they were. And he said because obviously when they're racing in their mind, the world isn't going that fast. The world's going at their brain speed. But he couldn't believe when like that went past.
When you're riding the bike, it's fast, it feels fast, but you're concentrating that hard on riding the bike. You almost forget that it's fast, forget that it's dangerous, forget that it's a bit bonkers. When you're sitting on the side of the track and the bikes are coming past you, you think to yourself, why are they doing that? Why are they going so fast? That's not right. And then you realise, oh shit, I was doing that 5 minutes ago. And yeah, it does mess with your head a little bit because it's not normal. It's a little bit insane, really.
To be honest, it wouldn't mess with my head, but it is like even watching the Super Twins at Hilbury, when the first bike came through, and bear in mind it was the first night of practice, like they were on their first lap, and the first lap through I was like, what have I just witnessed? Like, I didn't know what to expect. And I've been around racing basically my entire life, and I couldn't believe how fast the Super Twins were through Hilbury. And I'm like, well, if that's what a Super Twin looks like, what does a Superbike look like?
Brilliant! Oh wow! Oh my God! Sneak your way into the place you shouldn't really be. Stand at the side of the road, and then there's a tornado jet comes past you. There's a load of stuff flying up, and leaves, and just like a shock to your senses. You cannot actually comprehend what you're allowed to do as a spectator.
I miss watching. I miss being a spectator. You know, racing it is amazing, and being part of it is just incredible. But you know, we grew up laden at edge bottom, waiting for exactly what he's just described.
You are literally sat on a wall here, and I'm going past you at 190 miles an hour, right where you're sat. What's that?
I don't know, 2 foot away, and you get that feeling of the air coming past you. It's a feeling that you can't describe.
It's the smells and the way the bike sucks everything off the ground. You know, it's just sucks the leaves, the dust, and everything. Like you can actually feel it moving the wind. So it's pretty unique. And
there's nowhere in the world you can do that. Literally, there was nowhere. There was nowhere. So that would just blow the socks off.
I don't think the fans half the time realise how close they're actually getting. I don't think they actually understand it. I think that's why people want to come to TT, because it's
like, surely this isn't right, but it is. It's awesome.
undefinable, unjustifiable, unimaginable, uniquely impossible, but very, very real. We should thank the founding fathers of road racing for laying the foundations and count our blessings that as long as motorcycles and stopwatches exist, there'll be men and women brave enough to take a tap on broad shoulders for all of us.
I remember people saying, you'll never get 120, it's too fast, it's impossible. It's physically impossible for bikes to go that fast around the Isle of Man TT.
The here comes Peter Hickman across the line. He wins the senior TT at 135.4.
It was always going to come, just who was going to do it.
It was amazing. Nobody was expecting it, but it happened, you know.
That is fast.
Obviously, the faster you go, the more risky there is, obviously.
You've just got to accept that it's not going to be safe and you've got to push beyond a normal limit.
Because it takes some doing, you know, you're not messing about.
You have to be riding so damn hard every millimetre of the track.
You know, I think all records are there to be broken. Everybody's there to be beat.